How's it going, everyone? I'm here with Murphy from Ammo AZ. So recently, the Mexican government went after you for some, in my opinion, bogus lawsuit, saying that you're responsible for Mexicans' gun violence right down that country. Tell me a little bit about the lawsuit and give my viewers an update on what's going on.
It was a lawsuit that we saw coming, not specifically directed at us, right? So the Mexican government just lost a lawsuit against gun manufacturers recently, and they were suing Colt and Smith & Wesson and all the likes of the big guys, right? They were suing them, essentially trying to make them responsible for the gun violence involved in Mexico due to trafficking. They lost that lawsuit probably about 2 weeks ago now, maybe 3 weeks ago now. Right immediately after they lost that lawsuit, they came out and said, okay, well, now we're going to go after gun stores along the border. And I quote that, along the border. So we knew this was happening, and it was to our surprise, kind of like everybody else's surprise, that along the border also includes Phoenix, because we were one of the first 5 gun stores named in the lawsuit.
And do you know why they named you?
I mean, I could take a couple stabs at it. So I was asked to comment on the last lawsuit on Telemundo and Univision. I didn't speak too highly of the lawsuit, especially when you're going on a fishing expedition where there's no fish to catch, right? It's a political statement that they were trying to do. So I didn't speak too highly of them. So it could be that they saw that Telemundo interview, that I wasn't talking highly about the government, or it could also be the fact that we sell more guns than any other dealer here in Arizona. We're the largest Arizona gun dealer, so that maybe they targeted us for that.
Yeah. And speaking of the lawsuit, though, it's just kind of ironic how the Mexican government just gave guns to the cartel, and we know about Operation Fast and Furious, where the ATF smuggled guns across the border. But why would they blame you for that? It's just like, you're not the one smuggling it across the border. You do all your background checks. You check everyone who comes in here. You follow the law. And as we know, under this administration, if you were doing anything illegal, the Biden administration would jump on that opportunity to shut you down.
Right.
But you're still here. You're still operating. I mean, despite the cancel culture going on.
Right.
You're still here. So, I mean, what's your comment on that?
So the 19 guns that they cited in the lawsuit happened 4 years ago. I've had 2 ATF audits since supposedly I trafficked these guns. If I was doing something wrong, ATF would have used one of those audits to shut me down, as an opportunity to shut me down. Obviously, we're not doing anything wrong, because if we do something wrong, they would immediately shut us down. I think the lawsuit is an excuse to not put blame where blame is and try to deflect the blame someplace else. Look, I mean, bottom line is, if you want your house more secure, what would you do? Would you tell your neighbor to be more secure, or would you secure your own house? You would put up chain link fencing. You would put up a security door. You would protect your own house, right? Yeah. So here, the government of Mexico is saying, well, we're getting a lot of guns crossing the border, and they're blaming their neighbors for the fact that people are just walking into their house. Secure your own house, right? They admitted they can't man the borders. They don't put up, they don't have the same technology as the U.S. side to detect smuggling. And they literally said that it is unfair for their taxpayers to pay for such technologies, and instead they're blaming people like us. I'm just a mom and pop gun store doing things legally over here. I'm selling guns to U.S. legal citizens, not Mexican citizens, right? And they're blaming us. Again, if you want to secure your own house, secure your own house. Don't blame your neighbors. Yeah.
And it's kind of, it opens up that can of worms where, okay, Mexican government's suing us. Are we going to sue them for all the fentanyl coming across the border, right? Are we going to sue them for all the human trafficking? Are we going to sue them for this, that, and whatever else? It's ridiculous. And do you have any insight on, like, if there's any political motives here in the U.S. for this lawsuit?
So, I mean, obviously, Brady Foundation is going to back this. Liberal foundations will back this, saying that something needs to be done, even though we're doing everything lawfully, right? That they're backing this political move. Obviously, the people on the government side, or the Mexican government side, that's pushing for this, they're trying to appease their constituents as well. And, you know, as no different than U.S. politicians trying to appease their constituents. Hey, look, we can't do anything about the lawsuit, so we're going to support this Mexican lawsuit, so hopefully we can do something about gun stores. And the ultimate goal here, I think, is for Mexico, that is if they can actually shut down one of the stores, that's going to be a huge win for them, right? That, are you going after the small guy now because you think the small guy won't stand up, he'll just lay down and die? If so, that's going to be a huge win, and it'll be a blueprint for them in the future as well, that, hey, you know, if we can sue 5 gun stores at a time and one will shut down, let's just keep doing this and see how many gun stores we can shut down. You know, we can't change the Second Amendment, right? All that's unconstitutional. So what other ways or what other tactics can we get rid of guns? And you're looking at one of them right now.
Yep. And you being a successful business owner, this has impacted you for some of your plans in the future as well. So, I mean, that's the scary part, where they're targeting businesses, and it's this whole cancel culture thing now where you're guilty before proven innocent, and I don't know if you want to talk about it.
Sure, I can talk about it. Yeah, I can absolutely talk about it.
Because you mentioned on the live stream where your banks originally canceled you over all this stuff, and
so as far as the Second Amendment community goes here in Phoenix, Arizona, we've gotten an outpour of support, right? So if anything, our business has picked up from this exposure, right? Because again, obviously, if I was doing something wrong, I'd be shut down. There would be no ammo AZ. Murphy would be behind bars. That's where we'd be doing this interview from, right?
Well, so we need you for governor, but I mean, I'll take Kerry first, and then you can take the next.
So we're not seeing an impact there necessarily yet. Who knows over time? But where we are seeing an impact is our bank got woke all of a sudden, right? Our Second Amendment friendly bank just got woke. They saw me on the news doing an interview like this, right? And they're claiming reputational risk. They don't want to be associated with me. So I had a checking and savings account with them. They kicked that. Also had a pre-approved $10 million loan for my shooting range. They kicked that as well. So it's affected me kind of that way, not so much in-store sales, but for example, we were shopping for new insurance when all this went down, right? So one of the very first questions they ask you when you're trying to get commercial insurance, do you know of any existing lawsuits against your company? Can't get insurance now, right? Yeah. So, and then we're looking into possibly doing a temporary range here while we're looking for a permanent solution. So what's one of the things landlords want? They want insurance, right? I can't get insurance, so is he going to renew my policy knowing that I can't get insurance? So now, I mean, we don't know. The effects we'll know more over time, but yeah, it's guilty before I even got served, right?
The process is the punishment.
Right, exactly. No, you're absolutely right. It's just to drag your name through the mud. There is a very, very low likelihood that a federal judge won't throw this out, right? We're protected under the Protection and Arms Act, just like the last lawsuit was. The last lawsuit got kicked for the Protection and Arms Act, and we're also included in that act where that law protects us as well. Pretty much saying that, hey, if you buy a gun from somebody, from a gun store or a manufacturer, and you go kill somebody, it's not their fault. It's the person's fault that pulled the trigger.
So crazy stuff, man. I mean, what can people do right now to support you and your business?
Number one thing you can do is just continue to shop here. Continue to come. I don't care if you just buy a T-shirt or take a free sticker and put it on your car. That's the number one thing people can do to support us and stand behind us, is just continue to come here.
Awesome. And then you heard it here first, guys. Come out, support Ammo AZ, best gun store in Arizona, I dare say. I know during the pandemic I shopped here a lot. Probably could have gotten in a house, but you know, I'm glad I was able to support you guys as a business and do the Second Amendment hobby, as all Americans should. So, Murph, it was a pleasure, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the interview, and I wish you the best of luck.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, guys.